Well, hello. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? This is Carla Y. Nix with this week's devotional message I want to leave with you. And as my weekly devotionals are geared towards helping us as we go through the week to focus on something to kind of carry with us. I have this thing about having a theme. I like themes. So, but the devotional is a theme that you can help you to focus and to be blessed during the week. I'm actually going to use this week um, part of our Sunday school lesson. We had an excellent Sunday school lesson this morning, and I'm not going to reteach the lesson, um, but I want to just kind of give one of the biggest takeaways I had from this. And as you see, I'm calling this "What's in Your Closet." There's a commercial that says, "What's in your wallet?" Well, I'm asking, what's in your closet? Many of us have skeletons in the closet. Many of us, there's things in there and people in there that we don't want nobody to know about, or things that just weren't that good. Now, the reason I'm speaking on this is because we're in the Christmas season, and although I just did my video on Advent, this kind of goes along with that as well because it's bringing us to the birth of Christ. Now, I'm going to be talking kind of fast because I want to cover so much, but I want to have it in a capsule. And I'm going to encourage you to read Matthew, the first chapter. What are our verses? Matthew 1. Uh, Matthew 1, verses 12 through 17. Now, Matthew was one of we call the gospel writers. He wrote one of some people say one of the four gospels, but there is only one gospel. There's not four gospels, and it's not Matthew's gospel. But he was led and chosen to write his gospel account. And Matthew began to talk about the birth of Christ because that's where it begins. But he began with the genealogy of Christ. And a lot of people, including myself, kind of get stuck or don't like to read those verses, to read that gynecology. Oh my goodness. Genealogy. Because it is hard to read. That's just the truth. It's all of those names, and he begat him and begat that person and all. But as you mature and want to learn more of the word and more of God, you will understand more of the significance of this genealogy. It's not just words and names just to be thrown out there for no reason, but it shows the lineage of Christ. And especially, he was writing to the Jewish people. And the Jewish people have not accepted, still to this day, they have not accepted Jesus Christ as the Savior. It was prophesied way back, Isaiah prophesied and all that the Messiah was coming. Okay, I believe my pastor said, I think it was 700 years. Did he say 700 or 70 years? I think 700 years before uh, the birth happened. And Matthew left the account, and he began with the genealogy because he wanted to show the readers that Jesus Christ was indeed the prophesied Messiah. And a lot of people you got to show me, show me, show it to me, and then I'll believe it. So the genealogy, he left. I mean, he went all the way back, and as it's described in here. And I'm not going to read it all here because again, those words are very hard. I'm going to be honest. I cannot pronounce all of those names. And he covered kind of like in three sections. 14 years, not years, 14 generations, and then another 14 generations, and then another 14 generations until the birth of Christ. And he named everybody in that line that pointed to Christ. Now, it showed, and I don't have my stuff highlighted. Let me read this. Matthew's purpose was beyond celebrating or honoring Jewish custom and culture. His purpose was to prove that Jesus was the Jews' promised Messiah and King. To validate this claim, Matthew shows that Jesus is a legitimate descendant of Abraham's, specifically David. Those two people represented God's two significant covenants with the nation of Israel, the Abrahamic covenant and the Davidic covenant. These covenants were foundational to the Jews' expectation of how their promised Messiah would be identified. Matthew's genealogy can be divided into three distinct parts. The first moves from Abraham to David. Okay. Matthew's inclusion, he also included, this is key, get this is not just a happenstance, but he included women and Gentiles. And that's important because women were not seen or viewed as significant. Okay? And the Jews rejected the Gentiles. So they didn't expect none of that to be relative to our Savior. Okay? They didn't accept that. So he not only included Gentiles, he included the mentioning of women. And he also did include some Jewish women names in here. Tamar is one, but also Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, Jesus, it began with Abraham, well, from with the mentioning and through David, but also women like Rahab. Okay. There in his lineage are not all kings. David was a king. Okay. Solomon was royalty. Abraham, the father of the faithful, as we call him, but not everybody was that. What word can I use? Of such a high standard. Okay. Again, Rahab was considered a harlot, or we could say a prostitute. But she was not only in that lineage, but God used her. She was part of protecting the spies that were sent out. But she played a significant part in the line that led to Jesus. So, in Jesus's lineage, in his line, in his genealogy, are all kinds of characters, all kinds of people. Just like with us, everybody is not perfect. I mean, we can just look at, there might be criminals, there may be drug addicts, there may be all kind of people, but the point is they all played a significant part to the king. Jesus Christ. And then Jesus Christ, when uh, he came in a lowly manner. He didn't come, like we envision how a king should be. He came. The first people that were notified about his birth were who? The shepherds. A menial job. It wasn't stated at the palace. It wasn't stated to royalty. It was the shepherds who had, might as well just call them blue collar workers. They had what you might consider a lowly job. But they were smart and they were able to understand. And I read something the other day, and I never realized the significance of this until I read that. Stated that when the angels told the shepherds that the babe will be found, number one, um, in the manger, because there was no room in the inn, there was significance there. We look at it like, oh, they just were mean, and okay, well, number one, it was crowded because people were coming. It was an influx of people in town, and no, there was no room in the inn. However, the baby, they put them in the manger, and the manger, yeah, it housed animals, but they were protected. It was a safe place for them. So Jesus was in that manger, laid in the manger, laid in the cradle, in the manger. Okay? And then he was wrapped in swaddling clothes. And the angels told the shepherds that you will find the babe laying in a manger, wrapped in swaddling clothes. Now we say, and we do this, they do wrap newborn babies tight so that they can feel, they won't be all flinging, and they feel close. Yes, that's important and that's good. But also, the babe being wrapped like that signifies him being protected. That was important. But also, it was stated that when an animal, let's say a goat or a lamb was born, if the animal was injured or in danger, the shepherd would wrap that animal to protect that animal. So it is stated that when the shepherds were told this, they understood exactly what that meant. That he's being protected because he's the king. He's the Messiah. He's important. So that was significant. But again, it was not told to the higher ups. It was told to the shepherds. Okay. But all of these people, back to the genealogy, that was in Jesus' line were not all great people. If we want to put a value on them, and I'm really saying that lightly because we all have value, and this goes to show that their lives were important, that they were important, and so let's bring it home. What's in your closet? Who's in your closet? What's in your genealogy? Again, it might be people who were not of good character. You might be not of good character. But the point is that God uses us all. And again, Matthew mentioned the women. Some of the women, not all of them, but he mentioned key ones by name. They were important. Like I said, Rahab didn't have a good reputation. She had a house of ill repute, if you want to say it like that. But God used her. She helped the spies. She had the scarlet, not the scarlet letter, but the scarlet scarf that she hung out so that they could know where to go and that they were in danger. But it protected them. So that was important. God can use anybody, and God does. You don't have to be born in the palace. You don't have to be born to what's his name now? King George. That's his name, right? In England. Uh uh Queen Elizabeth's son, Charles. you know, what they had the two boys, Harry and the other one. That's a shame. But I'm saying they were born in the palace. They were born into royalty, and they're doing a job. I'm not going to even talk about the royals, but everybody is not born royal, and even well, I'm not going to go there either. But you you are valuable. You matter. You may have some shortcomings. Maybe your parents did. Maybe they didn't treat you right. Maybe they didn't do right by you. Maybe they were even absent. Maybe they even abandoned you. Maybe your dad wasn't there. You might not even know some of your family. But it's important that we do it. That's another story too. But it is important that we know our own genealogy. I love genealogy. I love it, and it's a good thing to know. But in this case, let us know that God used and uses all kind of people for his purpose. You don't have to have a certain status in life and where you come from. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're invaluable to God. He loves you. He created you. He designed you. He equipped you. He called you for a purpose. So, again, what's in your closet? It doesn't matter if you got skeletons in there, if you got hooligans in there, if you got broken, rotten bones in there. It don't matter. It don't matter because we're all good in God's eye because he loves us. Now let's act accordingly. Now how you act, that's another story. That's up to you. But don't let what's in your closet discourage you.